Welcome to Second Listen Saturday on the Parenting Roundabout podcast, where we share some fun moments from a past episode for your weekend listening pleasure. Look for new episodes every Monday through Friday.
Terry's feeling a particular kind of financial pinch.
Yeah.
Terry, what's going on?
We've talked before about kids and money, and I think we've also talked a little bit about a situation I had where somebody implied that the hotel I was staying at was extravagantly nice when I felt it was just, adequately not gross. So, we maybe skirted this topic a little bit, but I've been feeling something lately, and maybe it's just something in my part of the country or amongst my personal friends. I'm going to see from you guys if you had the same thing. A particular form of money shaming that's not, we have lots of money and can buy fabulous things and you can't, which is what you would think of it more typically as being, but oh, you spend money on that? We don't have that kind of money. Oh, you go to that store? That's too expensive for us. Oh, you stay at that hotel? We stay at the Motel 6. And in a way that makes me feel like they're saying, hey, Daddy Warbucks, good for you. And I still feel like I'm Annie. It's like, I'm really not that well off here. I just don't want to take a shower after I leave a hotel to wash it off of me. I don't want to, I go to the store that's convenient. I go to, it makes me feel defensive and I don't know why, because what do I care? I could be flattered that people think that I have enough money, but I feel like they're accusing me of being wasteful or, it's like the whole friends don't let friends drink Starbucks thing at Dunkin' Donuts. Like, whoa, who would go to buy that coffee? That seems to be a thing these days, and I don't know if it's all because we hate the 1%, and therefore if you're spending money, you're part of the problem, or what. But I don't like it. I don't like feeling defensive.
It sounds shaming. Like it sounds like it's being done in a way that is
and I
shaming.
The people who are doing it, I don't know if that's what they mean, but I don't know what else they could mean. Mm-hmm. Are they wishing me congratulations, good luck to you that you can go shop at the store that seems to me to just be a normal store? And you can go to that mechanic that's the expensive mechanic. It's like, it's just the mechanic that we go to.
Right.
I didn't look in the yellow pages under expensive mechanics.
Pricey mechanics.
Yes, exactly. I'm not flashing my cash here as I walk around. So have you guys noticed anything like that? Have you had that experience before? Am I just being overly sensitive? Yes. But are you similarly overly sensitive? Nicole, I think you have a different experience out there in La La Land.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, La La Land, exactly. Well, here everybody talks about what they're buying and where they're going and what their latest, lavish expenses are. So there's no shaming involved.
It's more
money bragging.
It's more one-upping, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Or just keeping up with the Jones. It's really, there's a fine, I shouldn't say fine, there's a very definite line between the haves and the have-nots here, sadly. And people tend not to even really discuss that side of it.
Yeah.
So, you're either on one side of the fence or the other.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
And, if you're on the have side, it's expected that you go to certain places and do certain things. Like, it's just an expectation.
Yeah.
There's no shame. It's just, that's what you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
If you, are on the other side of the fence, then there are certain things that you do according to that within that demographic. Am I making any sense?
Yes.
So, for example, when we first moved here, maybe giving some examples will illustrate this situation that I'm in.
Yes.
When we first moved here, we were looking for, we were getting to know our community and what was around. And so my husband was asking some of the ladies at work, where do people shop? What's in the community? And one of the women said to him, Well, she said, there's a Walmart and there's a Target. She says, we only go to Target. People like you and I only go to Target. Yeah. Walmart is not a place for us to go. So that's kind of, it's
Target
that
is
type
on
of thing.
that side of the line. I always go to Target. I never go to Walmart, but it's not like
I can see that though. I think they each have a very different reputation.
They do.
And
they do.
feeling.
But it makes me think of my friend who used to say that she goes to the little French store Penneys.
AC Penny.
Yeah.
Target,
So it's like, are we going to Target?
Pennies.
We're going to Target to see.
Yeah, but it was
today.
it was very, it was just very matter of fact. I mean, I don't care either way. It just depends on what I need.
Yeah.
Right? Like for me, it really just depends on what I'm looking for.
Or where you happen to be. I mean, we have a Target is closer to us than a Walmart, so I would go to the Target, but I would, if the Walmart was in the same place, I would go to the Walmart. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, I tend not to, I don't know. This isn't the culture that I've come from, this type of culture. So I'm a little bit less discriminatory as to where I go and what I do, which sometimes I guess appalls my friends, but, and so then the other, we also had, people tell us, well, we go to this shopping mall. We don't go to that shopping mall. Or, and then finally, my last example is that we still have this beat up old blue car that wasn't so old, years ago. And, it's just, it's like, seriously, it's a clunker. And my husband drives it around. He drives it to work. Mm-hmm. And then we have a newer vehicle. But our friends are like, okay, so when are you going to get rid of that blue car?
Oh my.
When are you going to upgrade?
Yikes.
It's sitting out the front, the paint's peeling off it, it's like rusting out.
You have it up on blocks on the lawn?
Yeah, not yet. But we do get the comments of, okay, so when are you going to get rid of that?
Oh dear.
So anyway, that's kind of the situation down here. There's very, a certain group of people shop or do things and have things from certain places.
Yeah.
It's just an expectation.
I can think of places like that. Like, Whole Foods, I would think of. If you're going to Whole Foods, then you can afford things that I can't. Or King's is another kind of nice supermarket here. But I don't think of the place that I go as being that way. But obviously other people do. And it just unsettles me a little bit. I don't, am I spendthrift? I don't know. Catherine, do you have the same problem or any variation on it?
Well, I don't know exactly. There certainly is the whole perception of certain stores or places different from others. And I know my teenager will notice if, say, someone is on Instagram and she'll say, all he ever posts is like pictures of stuff he bought or stuff he got. And she is really, turned off by that. She thinks that that's not, I don't know if she thinks it's rude or I think she thinks it's bragging and that's why it bothers her.
Yeah.
So we have that. But there's certain things that, you have your vehicle is definitely a thing. Like, do you have a new one? Do you have an old one? Does your child have one? What kind of, how recently did you get it? How much are you spending on getting it fixed? All that stuff. Cause we went through that with our last one, we kept that thing for a very, very long time. Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned the mechanic because we have found a mechanic that we really like. And, my husband would always go there, and they work on mostly foreign cars. But they'll work on our Ford too. So.
But it seems like you're going to the fancy foreign car mechanic.
Maybe.
When it's just really, this is a mechanic I like. And
and when you go to, you really need to trust your mechanic.
Yeah,
like, that's
you do.
important.
You do. I mean, this place is in walking distance, and it's next to a Dunkin' Donuts. So if you have to wait for your car, you got a place to go.
What more could you ask
It was
for?
the Vooks mechanic. And there's also the whole angle of what do you want your child's perception of your family to be?
Right.
You know, do you want your child to feel like you're the rich folk and anything that they want they can have? Or that you're struggling and pinching pennies or something in between, you know? We talk about money in my house more than I would actually like to, but now that I have young adults and particularly my daughter, trying to teach her how to manage money and how to delay gratification, that is a hard skill, man. So you have to go talk about it again and again. And it's not like, we're poor, you can't buy anything. Here, take this hand-me-down item, like I do. But at the same time, here's a budget. Here's the amount of money you have. Try living within it. It's cool. So sometimes I think that the things we do and the places we go send messages. We have friends who seem to be traveling a lot of the time and going out to eat a lot of the time. And, my daughter and I talk about that and whether that's something we would want to do and how it's better maybe to pick the times you go out and do stuff and then it's more special and you're not spending money right and left. But, this a couple of these recent little money shaming incidents made me think, am I sending the wrong message? Am I sending a message that we're fancy folk?
Right.
I think, the whole reason why we moved down to California was for a job because my husband lost his job or, things kind of died out where we were in Canada. So we went through a huge financial crisis in Canada. And my husband was looking for work and my kid, we tried not to, give kind of the emotional side. We tried not to, demonstrate the emotional hardship of it, but, we definitely were open about the struggles that we were facing. And then, of course, the process of moving, that had to be a family, that had to be discussed. Why we were going to pick up and move to another country. And so I feel like my kids have lived through that. And then coming here are, despite all the opulence that's around us, I was in the Albertsons parking lot, grocery store parking lot the other day, and just the line of, luxury vehicles is just unreal. And, it's just it's not the norm. And so so in this land of like lavishness and overindulgence, we often talk about where we came from and why we came here and, just how important it is to be mindful. And if you are spending money, does it make sense?
Yeah.
And can you do it? And I don't know. Because I guess we just come from a different experience altogether. So it makes our money lessons a bit different. So so that's kind of how we approach that with our kids. Which is interesting because right now I'm getting text messages from my son. Mom, I don't have a job. I've got to get a job. I don't have enough money left in my bank account.
Yeah, that's hard. That stinks. Getting a job right now is hard.
It is. Especially when you've, facing a tuition of like $20,000 for a year.
And I have a house full of people who are not fully employed and I'm overly employed. And it's like, so you do really think about each purchase. Do we need this now? Do we need to do this renovation? Can we limp these cars along a little bit longer? I feel like I agonize over everything. But then I do, I pick the cheapest possibility.
So when someone says something about it, that hurts because you're like, wait a minute.
Does,
I'm
come
really
look at my bathroom where the floor is about to fall through. I don't spend money right and left. Really, I don't. So how many hours did it take me to decide to buy one little stupid thing for my birthday? Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. It's weird. And you don't want to give your kids a complex about it, but you also don't want them to feel entitled. And
That's the part that I think I have the most trouble with is the whole entitlement thing. Like the other day, one of my kids wanted something and it was a for sure want, it was in no way a need. And I said, yeah, you can have that. It'll cost about this much and you can pay for it. Why do I have to pay for it? Because I have provided you with the need in this case.
Yes.
And you're not entitled to the want,
Right.
I'm sorry. That's just, it doesn't matter if I can afford it or not. It matters if you can afford it because it's not something I'm going to buy, I'm just,
Yeah. I think basically if people would just not talk about money to other people, that would be a good thing. So either you're making somebody feel bad that they don't have enough or that they look like they have too much. No matter what, there's really no way to have that conversation. So just shut up. This is our advice.
I would have it if I could learn something. I want to, if I could learn something about, what was I thinking about the other day that I really want? Oh, buying insurance.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, because we were changing over our house insurance and then I needed to get new life insurance because our life insurance is Canadian and then of course it would only pay out in Canadian dollars, which would be half of what we would need. So,
wow.
And it was just, I was trying to look on the internet, because I don't know the system down here, how do you buy life insurance in the U.S.? And I was like, can somebody please help me? I don't know how to buy life insurance. Anyway,
oh man,
it works.
My dad was an insurance agent, independent insurance agent, and at some point he bought me a life insurance policy, which has just kept going. I have no idea where it came from. Every now and then I get something in the mail about it, and it's like, good, glad to know it's there.
Yeah.
Not going to have anything to do with it.
Right.
Out of my mind. My husband knows if he needs to look it up where the paperwork is.
Yeah.
But so I never had to actually engage with that. But yeah,
right.
That's something you could use some help with.
Yes.
But feeling guilty about what you do or do not have, not so much.
Well, yeah, it's hard because, like you said, some of the hardest people to talk to about it are your kids.
Yes.
And you do need to be the one that does that.
Yes. And then
if you don't want them to get the information from other people who don't know what they're talking about.
Right. And they are watching how you answer in those situations also, I feel.
True.
And, what does it mean? Or maybe they don't care. I don't know.
I don't know. I just feel like being open about it and there's a lot of things I wish that I had paid more attention to or asked about that maybe would have saved me some grief.